Confidence doesn't come from results. What I found is confidence comes from knowing that when you're in a new situation and you don't know how to do it, that you've done that enough times and figured it out along the way that you're just not as worried about it. It's not a question of like, will you get there? It's often a question of how long is this going to take?
I say entrepreneurship is it's basically like how long can you endure pain for? I at least that's been my experience. Like how long will you stick it out through the uncertainty of right? Not when is this exercise going to end? Like the seal fit experience, like you have no idea when it's going to end. And you have this hypothesis that it's going to work if I keep working hard and showing up. Maybe it'll work, but maybe it doesn't. And so I think a lot of people, not I think, I know based on hundreds of conversations with aspiring entrepreneurs or people that, have just launched their business, the fear of failure is so crippling because the idea of going backwards or being embarrassed and as you alluded to, a lot of this stuff stems from childhood wounds and things that we experience. For someone listening right now where they want so badly to become a successful entrepreneur, build their business, but they're feeling a little bit paralyzed by fear or stuck in analysis paralysis, what do
Yeah.
you say to that person?
I think the biggest gap to people going down the path of business ownership is their need for certainty. Because owning a business is really like confidence doesn't come from results. What I found is confidence comes from knowing that when you're in a new situation and you don't know how to do it, that you've done that enough times and figured it out along the way that you're just not as worried about it. It's not a question of like, will you get there? It's often a question of how long is this going to take? Like, how many reps am I really going to have to put in? And for me, it took a mindset shift to get to that place because I made it way too hard on myself in the early stages of the business. All pain comes from missed expectations. So for me, it was starting the business. My expectation was we're going to grow this thing really big. We're going to sell it in 3 to 5 years. And then I'm going to go buy an island somewhere in the Caribbean and I'm just going to go retire. I'm going to drink Mai Tais and my life is going to be amazing. That was what was in my head. Um, what I've come to learn over the years is that I don't ever want to retire. And it's not because I need to have this particular job or be working on this thing. It's just because I recognize like I love to build and create things. It fulfills a part of me, and I'm always going to need to feed a part of that in order to be my sort of whole self. And so when I think about, an entrepreneur who's feeling uncertain, it's like just start taking some small steps to do some things. And that can be investing in yourself. Like if you're not regularly working out or doing some kind of fitness thing, that's an easy place to start. Just start casting votes for the future person you want to be and show up and show yourself, I can do things that feel hard. And in my view, things are hard because the results don't come quick. Like when we do things, the work may be difficult, but if we get results early, we don't call those things hard. I'm like, oh, that's no big deal. I'll do that all day long. What's hard is when we have to do it for a long period of time and we don't know actually how long we have to do it before we're going to get to the total outcome that we want. And that is the blessing and the curse of raising kids. It's the blessing and curse of starting a business. It's the blessing and curse of building anything that is sort of long-term valuable. Because I just found for me, at least, that nothing that has the real meaningful long-term rewards that I want is something that I can get with short-term shortcuts. Like I've got to be willing to do the work. And I think as business owners, we often make it too hard on ourselves because of our expectations of how fast things need to happen, or we're somehow broken, as opposed to having the mentality of like, I just haven't figured it out yet. Okay, so that didn't work. What's up next? In our business, we have a principle called fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And the reason is because The solutions don't always work. But if you fall in love with the problem, then when the solution doesn't work, you just next man up. What's the next solution that we're going to try and put in place to solve this problem? And it's the same thing with the business. And I think once you switch that mentality, you start looking at your job differently. When you stop thinking like, oh, I just have to grind it out for the next 2 years to get to this point and then life is going to be better. It's like, no, this is the reality of where I'm at. How do I make where I'm at enjoyable? And that just becomes an exercise in trying to figure out what is it I'm good at? What lights me up? What can I do uniquely that's going to make this business more valuable? And what do I need to let go of? Because there's somebody out there that loves to do that thing that I don't love to do. Or, I'm a big believer in this concept of a work budget, which is, I think, one of the things that can happen when you start a small business is that it can suck up every available time you have. In business, there are always more things to do than there are time and resources to do it. So the main exercise of running a business is choosing, it's prioritization. And what happens if you're not intentional about this sort of work budget idea is it will just suck up all your time. And it can suck up all your time. I could spend 10 hours a day, Tarek, in email if I wanted to. 100%. But I hate email. And you know why I hate email? Because email is where everyone else's goals and objectives and desires live, not mine. But so I actually have to develop, I've had to develop a system for how I carve time and space out to get away from all the reactive things that I think I need to do to focus on the things that are really going to drive forward to the outcomes that I want.
If you enjoyed this short clip from the podcast, you can check out another short clip right here. Or if you want to watch the full episode of this podcast, you can watch that here. And remember, knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge that's power. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.